is it possible for a division that had 4 teams with winning records get even better the following season? I think that's what happened in the AFC North. What's going on, guys? Six Report here, back to another video, and today we are talking about the AFC North, a division that was very good last year. I mean, 3 teams made the playoffs, another one finished with a winning record, just missing the playoffs, and again, these teams were making moves so that they could make a deep run in 2024. Let's break them all down. Alright, let's get this out of the way for the Ravens. Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry just sounds like a match made in heaven. Lamar Jackson, one of the most exciting football players in the NFL right now, and truly one of the best threats at the quarterback position that we have ever seen. And then Derrick Henry, you're just talking about a guy that is built like a tank and runs very fast. You forget just how fast he can be. So it sounds like a match made in heaven. Derrick Henry, there is a question on whether there is something left in the tank. Numbers were down last year, but that might be more attributed to the Titans having a poor offensive line than anything. We will see. In terms of the Ravens, they did lose some players on the defensive side of the ball. Patrick Queen is gone. So is Jadeveon Clowney, and so is Geno Stone. But I had mentioned this before when we were recapping free agency. They already had a replacement for Queen. It's Trenton Simpson. He's going to get the first crack at it. Looks like a match with Roquan Smith. In the secondary, Geno Stone was technically their number 3 safety. I think they're going to find a replacement for him. He's not going to be as good as Geno Stone. I'm not saying they're going to be better with him not on the team. I'm just saying this is still a piece that they can replace. And then for Jadeveon Clowney, you are hoping that Odafe Owe or David Ojabo has a breakout season, and they brought back Kyle Van Noy. So I think the Ravens defense is going to be fine even without those pieces. And in the secondary, getting Nate Wiggins in the first round and then TJ Tampa in the 4th. I still don't know how Tampa fell to the 4th round. He should have been at worst a 2nd round pick. They get him in the 4th. Talk about a draft steal. Last thing I want to talk about is the wide receiver group. Yes, I know Ravens fans were dying for a wide receiver. They get Tez Walker in the 4th round to be their deep threat. That moves Rashad Bateman back to the slot. Zay Flowers, he looks like a number 1 wide receiver in this league. I think this receiving core is going to be just fine, especially with Mark Andrews coming back healthy. Isaiah Likely probably being the best number 2 tight end in the NFL, and re-signing Nelson Aguilar. They're going to be just fine there. Lamar's going to have plenty of weapons, along with Derrick Henry, when they get Keaton Mitchell back. If this offense is able to fire on all cylinders with the talent that they have, they should be able to do well. Defense, they should be able to do well, but their test is not going to come until playoff time. It's that championship game that is leaving a bad taste in probably everyone's mouth on that Ravens team because they got away from the run. Their running backs had 6 carries the entire game. That cannot happen again. And with Derrick Henry, if they get to that point, they're going to make sure that doesn't happen again. So Ravens, we're expecting good things out of you, but the true test is going to come in the playoffs. Let's face it, 2023 was just a rough season for Joe Burrow. He injured his calf before the season even started, and then he injured his wrist in a game against the Ravens and was lost for the rest of the season. Now, the Bengals did still almost make the playoffs and finish with a winning record. And with Burrow back healthy, they're expecting more from what they did in 2021 and 2022. However, there's still some things they need to iron out. Trey Hendrickson and T. Higgins both want contract extensions. Higgins was put on the franchise tag, and he just signed his tender. He didn't sign it before because he requested a trade, and so did Hendrickson. They want long-term deals, and they're not sure if the Bengals are going to give that to them. That's why they requested a trade. Now, I do expect both of them to be in Cincinnati come week 1, but this could be their final shot with this core. They have lost some of the pieces that helped them get to the Super Bowl in 2021 the last few off seasons, and they're going to lose more the next off season. So this might be the last chance that Burrow and this team has with the core that's in place before they have to reload. Also, the offensive line. I mean, that's the biggest thing right now. Can they protect Burrow? I don't know. I mean, you go into the season with the same questions. Now, they drafted Mims in the first round to be their right tackle of the future. They signed Trent Brown, but I'm not expecting Brown to be the right tackle for all 17 games. I just don't see it. He's getting up there in age, and I don't know. I just don't see it. I think Mims is going to start at some point this season. I just don't know when. With Cincinnati, they are still a very talented team. I would still expect them to make a run at the playoffs, but how deep can they go when they get there? That's the thing with them. I'm not entirely sure. Kevin Stefanski's just been a great hire for the Cleveland Browns. I mean, he's done a great job. He's taken the Browns to the playoffs twice in his time there. Since the Browns have been back in 1999, they've only made the playoffs 3 times. Twice with Stefanski. That shows you how bad it's been in Cleveland since they returned. So Stefanski, he's done a great job. But what's preventing Cleveland from getting over the hump and making a deep playoff run, maybe getting to a Super Bowl? It's quarterback. I mean, Deshaun Watson, that trade is just looking worse and worse every single day, especially since it helped build the Texans back up. Let's not forget, Texans won the division last year and they beat the Browns in the playoffs. Now, last season, Cleveland just had terrible injury luck at the quarterback position. They used 4 different starting quarterbacks and had Joe Flacco, who is 38 years old, coming off the couch to start the last few games of the season and the playoff match. That just was not good. Watson, he also got hurt against the Ravens. One thing Cleveland can count on is their defense. Myles Garrett, I mean, he is just one of the best players in the NFL. He is one of the top 5 players in the NFL, probably the best defensive player in the NFL. One thing Cleveland can always count on is that defense of theirs. Myles Garrett, he's probably the best defensive player in the NFL right now. Denzel Ward, he's a true number 1 corner in this league. They have a solid linebacking core. Greg Newsome has become a really good number 2 corner next to Denzel Ward. I mean, that defense is just stacked. They are one of the best defenses in the NFL. I would expect for them to be, at worst, a top 10 defense in the NFL this year. That's one thing they can count on. And on the offense, it's not as if the cupboard's bare either. I mean, David Njoku. You also have Amari Cooper. They just got Jerry Jeudy. They're hoping he can have a true breakout season this year. The offensive line, it's not bad, but they have to get healthy. Running back, that's the big question right now. Nick Chubb got hurt, seriously hurt last year. Seriously hurt. And you're not sure if he's going to be able to return to form. But if they can get him back to even 75% of what he was before that injury, they should be just fine. Cleveland, this team has talent all around, but it's the play of Watson that's either going to help them rise to new levels or have them fall. That's the thing. It all depends on Watson. Wait a minute, you're telling me the Steelers actually made drastic changes to their team this offseason? Yeah, that's exactly what they did. Kenny Pickett and Deontay Johnson are gone. They were traded. They picked up Patrick Queen. They traded for Justin Fields. They got Russell Wilson after he was cut by the Broncos. This team is trying to not just be the team that always ends up with a winning record. Seriously, they talk about how Tomlin's never had a losing record a lot during the season. Well, now they want to be known for more than that because they haven't even made the Super Bowl since 2010. With a coach that's never had a losing record, you would expect that they've gone to more Super Bowls than they have with him, but they just haven't. Well, now's their chance to fix that. You have Wilson and Fields. 2 guys that Russell Wilson, he just hasn't been the same since that trade from Seattle to Denver. And then Justin Fields, a lot of people say he wasn't properly developed in Chicago. Now's the Steelers' chance to try to revive him a little bit. We'll see if that works out. But one more thing with this team. They revamped the offensive line. Troy Furtado and Zach Frazier were their first 2 picks, and both of them, you're booking them as day 1 starters. No more Dan Moore at left tackle. Here comes either Troy Furtado or Broderick Jones. Not sure which one of them is going to get it. And Zach Frazier at center. They were not great at center last year. Now is their chance to fix it. The offensive line can hold out. that's going to be big for them in the passing game and in the running game with Harris and Chris Warren. That's exactly what the Steelers need. But my big issue with them, there is a lot of ifs with this team. If Wilson or Fields can have a good season, if the offensive line can hold up, if George Pickens doesn't have any controversy this year, if TJ Watt can stay healthy, if Cam Hayward has something left in the tank, if Patrick Queen can prove it wasn't just Roquan Smith that was responsible for his good play. It's a lot of ifs, and I'm a little scared by that. I really am. When I see the whole bunch of ifs that the Steelers have, I'm not sure if they're going to be able to overcome all of that and it's all going to work out. Essentially, things have to be perfect for the Steelers to be the team that they could be in 2024. Everything has to go right. And in the sports world, very rarely does everything go right for a team. But when it does, that team turns out to be something amazing. So maybe it can happen with the Steelers. I'm not sure. But all I know is this division, yeah, it might turn out to be better than what they were in 2023. And again, that is saying something. Alright guys, those were my thoughts on the AFC North teams. Next up is the NFC North, and the interesting things going on at the quarterback position with those teams. But as always, I'll see you guys next time.